TRU VERRET-FLEMING.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
How's business?
Business is wonderful.
Yeah.
I think so.
Here at PMT, Pittsburgh
Yes.
Musical Theater, for those who might not have heard the short version of it. This company's been working you, haven't they?
This is my second production with them. I did Shrek with them this time last year.
You are an actor,
Yes.
vocalist, singer, and how should I put this? You don't strike me as somebody who is very old. So you're really getting a lot of work for a young performer here in Pittsburgh, which is really cool, I think. I see a lot of very successful young performers here in the city. There's lots of opportunity. So how has it been?
It's been wonderful, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I came here in 2010 for college. I went to Point Park University, and I studied acting there with a minor in musical theater. I didn't actually think that I would have much of a career in musical theater.
Now, why is that?
Well, when I auditioned for the school, I know nothing about musical theater, really. I just knew that I was a singer. I went to church. I sang throughout my entire life, so I.
So you thought, hey, let's get a degree in it.
Let's get a degree.
Yeah.
I went in and I just sang my heart out, but it wasn't stylistic. It wasn't musical theater. I was just a kid in there singing songs. So, throughout the school process, I really learned to hone, my skills, and I've been able to do a lot of musical stuff here in Pittsburgh. So, I mean, it's actually been kind of like a complete 180.
So the big question is, I think, the challenge that a lot of students have is they go to these collegiate programs with all these big ambitions, especially we got all these things on TV now like Glee, and we both went to Glee first, isn't that? You knew it was coming. I mean, we hit that right on the mark.
Absolutely.
That was scary, actually. But, we've got all these things on TV, like America's Got Talent and things, and I think there's these big dreams and expectations that you're going to make it, but then you've done nothing up until that point but go to school, essentially. So when you graduate, it's like you are pushed out of the nest. So what is that secret from making that transition from a fresh graduate to a working professional?
Well, I wish I could answer that without a little bit of baggage, if you will. I mean, I took 3 years off between going to high school and coming to college. So, I mean, within that 3 years, I really got an opportunity to know who I was as a person and in the workforce. I got a job, I moved up. Things seemed like they were going very well. I wasn't content with that, so that's why I came to school. So I would say for me, it was really just taking the time to get to know who I was and how I could manage in the world as a person and not necessarily an artist. I learned to hone those things in college, but when I graduated, it wasn't about like making it, because I'd already knew that I could handle life. So, I just, I don't know, there's no pressure. That's really what it is, just knowing that there's no pressure.
So what's your ideal job or lifestyle, or what is your career goal?
I mean, I'm definitely kind of like a pop star. Like that is where I think I am. I mean, I love acting and being on the stage, doing theatrical events, but I definitely love fronting a band. It is
Really?
It is. There is something about, I guess that's why I love it in theater as well, because you get the live band in the cockpit, so it's like, the music is real. I do perform with a band, the Elite Show band.
Oh yeah, we've had them on the show.
They are wonderful.
Oh yeah.
I love working with them.
So all of this has brought you currently to Pittsburgh Musical Theater.
Yes.
And you're currently working on the production, The Little Mermaid, which will open soon.
Yes, we open the 22nd.
Yeah,
actually,
it's coming up, and the character you are casted, was it the starfish or? It's a very iconic character.
Yes.
Many people are familiar with. It is Sebastian. The crab.
Yes.
Now, do you have any experience performing as sea creatures or?
No, I definitely remember watching it and kind of falling in love with the story and probably the music. I mean, the music is definitely really wonderful stuff. So.
Well, this crab has the best songs in the whole thing.
Well, he's the most memorable, if you will. It's A Part of Your World for Ariel, and for Sebastian, it's Kiss the Girl and Under the Sea. And most people know those because those are the big, like, ensemble numbers. So Yeah, I mean, I've always loved them, and now I get to sing them.
That's kind of a big responsibility, I think, because this is a character that everybody knows. So is there a lot of pressure between imitating what everybody knows and putting your own spin on it?
I wouldn't say that there's any like outright pressure, but I definitely feel a lot of pressure within myself to do it justice.
Now, what's this guy's backstory? Like, what's he all about psychologically?
Well, I think at least in the context of where we pick up in the show and where we end off in the show, you get the story of a part of King Triton's kingdom, if you will. He has kind of been Triton's right-hand man for a very long time. And when Triton's wife dies, he banishes music within the kingdom.
Now, this is, I think, something I don't recall from the film.
Right. It's
so
not in the film. However, they did do a couple versions that kind of show the beforehand and afterwards. And it's kind of put out there that Sebastian is the reason why music comes back to the kingdom. That's how he gets the title of being the court composer, which is what everyone knows him as.
That's a lot riding on your shell there. Now, there's an accent, too.
Yeah.
He's, Cockney British?
It's like, could you imagine? That would actually, backstory, he was supposed to be Upper British.
Like in the film, originally?
Yes, that character. And then they wrote it as a Caribbean.
His demeanor kind of implies that. He's sort of like the fuss budget, like, don't do this, don't do that. Yeah, those British actors you get pigeonholed as, unfortunately.
Yes. So that's a part of it, actually, and I try to use a part of that as well, knowing that they did intend for that when they first created that character. I mean, obviously we're underwater, so... Not really. And
that must be hard to act under those circumstances. Let alone sing.
Catching the bubbles.
A lot of gargling goes on, I guess. But God bless you all. I mean, wow. People really got to come see this and support the... I mean, 3 people drowned already. We're not even...
way here.
Right. Now, listen, have you ever had good Alaskan king crab?
No.
Listen, while you're working on the show, get yourself down to Luke Woolley's Wild Alaskan Grill. I'm dead serious. Listen. Because it could be that, all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. That could be like mentally, emotionally, like he just lost it.
It's a little difficult, but I mean, I'm constantly online looking for things. I don't have any representation.
No, we should specify that's auditions, right?
Yes.
I knew where you were going, but, because I'm in the business.
You know me.
Not that business. Now, they had that kind of like phony documentary on Discovery Channel a couple years back that was kind of implying that mermaids were real or could be real. Now, what are your thoughts on this?
Why not?
Well, I'll tell you why not. Because it's ludicrous. Grumpy old man walks into a restaurant and says, "Do you serve crabs here?" And the maitre d' says, "Well, yes, sir, we'll serve anybody." You get it? I don't get it.